Hello, this is Michael for video 3, response number 3. Response number 3 covered chapter 3 of Showtime, A History of the Broadway Musical Theater, and the Eric Salzman's essay, which was Whither American Music Theater. So here we go. So what stood out to me in the reading was that early on, Broadway leaned on its European roots, its European inspiration, as the text calls it. So things like French operetta being cheeky humor, social satire, while different from German comic operas, which were witty dialogue, pun heavy, and clever wordplay. These two, while completely different, they both help shape what the American they both help shape what the American audience member would take and expect when they would sit in a show at the theater. So American audience members will look for things like songs, romance, humor, and of course spectacle as well. And so in the text, it talks about shows like La Grande Duchesse de Gerolstein and Pinafore. While these shows crossed the Atlantic and came into the American states, these shows, they actually became the blueprint for the American stage. And one thing about these shows, they kind of laid the foundation for what American Broadway would look like. However, in the readings, I find that you see something called retrogressive come about, and I thought that was very interesting. And so with these shows coming into the States, the Americans gaining a hold on it and saying, okay, this is what American Broadway is going to look like. You see this decline because American Broadway doesn't take it and make it its own. So it leans heavily on those old traditions, those old operetta styles, those old formulas, instead of taking it, shaping it, and making it its own. So this sense of repetition, while on the decline, you have some artists who say, hey, I'm going to take this, I'm going to experiment with it and create something new. And so you do then begin to see this experimental phase, this reinvigoration of what American Broadway theater looks like. So you see a blend of like jazz and blues music, rock music, examples like Jesus Christ Superstar, Porgy and Bess. These shows, they take this form and they create something new out of it, known as new music theater. And unlike the big opera houses, the big institutional spaces, you find these experimental shows in the off-Broadway area. So flexible venues, smaller spaces. It gives the opportunity for the artists to take risks, take chances, and create something new that's fuse popular styles with a experimental take on it. So when we connect the readings, you do see as said before, the European roots, giving American musical theater its solid mold and foundation. And then we see that this foundation, while dated and old, it begins to run a cycle, and that cycle begins to run it into the ground. And then following this cycle, you see a renewal that continues to shape musical theater even today. So these are my takeaways from the readings, and yeah, thank you for listening.